Hi everyone. I will try to answer one of the most topical questions that applicants ask every day. A lot of clients come to me and say, I'm a long-term resident. I've been here for 4 years, for 5 years. I've been here for 7 years. Can I apply? I said, yes, you can. However, you need a skills assessment in the nominated occupation. And at this stage, a lot of the people are lost. For example, if a person did bachelor or master's in public health here in Australia, but they're not working in that occupation after they graduated, they might have been here for 7 years, but they worked as a carer, for instance, and they want to apply through the long-term residence stream. And I always say it is possible, but what is your nominated occupation? Nominated occupation cannot be carer unless it's the DAMA agreement and it's employer sponsored. The nominated occupation for 190 or 491 for someone who's completed health promotion management would be health promotion officer, for instance. This will be the nominated occupation. And the law requires that you have a skills assessment in that nominated occupation, even if you're a long-term resident. This basically means that without any experience in health promotion, it's difficult to get skills assessment. VetAssess, which assesses health promotion officers, would want a minimum of 1 year relevant experience in the field to give you a positive skills assessment. So if you have a health promotion degree from Australia but have never worked in the field, have worked for instance as a carer most of the time, you will not be able to have the skills assessment and thus not able to migrate even through the long-term residence stream. So sometimes it is very important to talk to a professional, tell your particular scenario and see what can be done. Sometimes applicants don't know that their previous work experience in their home country can be considered for skills assessment, that their previous degrees from their home country and not only the degrees obtained in Australia can be considered for skills assessment. We have a lot of people here in Australia who did their first degree here, their bachelor's, but we also have a lot of people who did their master's here and presumably they had bachelor's from their home countries and sometimes they had 1 or 2 at least, sometimes more than 1 or 2 years experience back in their home country. This all is valuable information that we as migration agents need to know about you to be able to help you. We look differently at each case scenario and we might know what is a relevant degree, what is an irrelevant degree for a particular nominated occupation. We might be able to advise you whether you have got the experience for skills assessment already or whether you need to gain this experience. Unfortunately, sometimes we have to tell clients, especially for all occupations assessed by VetAssess, that they can't apply as long-term residents unless they do that particular job which is specified by VetAssess as a skilled occupation. I gave you an example of a health promotion officer, but it applies to multiple other occupations. For example, you're a cafe and restaurant manager, for example, then VetAssess, if you completed that degree, a bachelor's degree in hospitality here, VetAssess would want you to work in that occupation for at least 1 year until they give you a positive skills assessment. Same applies to all other occupations. And if your degree, if your course of study was irrelevant, say you're employed as a cafe and restaurant manager, but your education here or back home was in mechanical engineering, so it's work experience and education do not go together, This is why, with an engineering background and a cafe and restaurant manager work experience, you would have to be working as a cafe and restaurant manager for at least 2 years to be assessed positively. Yes, so the requirement grows not 1 but 2 years. For every particular situation, there is advice that we give. We look at the educational credentials in detail, we look at the work experience in detail. Sometimes we may give the advice which you don't like, but this will be the correct advice and will be your guides in your future steps, making sure that you do the right thing to be eligible for further residence pathways. Thank you for watching this video, and if you have your skills assessment questions, please address them to me or book an appointment with me in Adelaide CBD.